Welcome, friends, to another edition of Wolff Responds. I would like this message to be, in a sense, a Christmas or a Hanukkah message, a message that deals with at least some dimension of what we tend to call the holiday season. So it should include Kwanzaa as well, and indeed any other wintertime holiday season. And the theme for this one is inequality. I'm going to start by reminding you of probably the single most famous, at least in Western culture, story about Christmas. It was called A Christmas Story, and it was written by Charles Dickens many years ago. And in that story, a very rich man, feeling very good about how much richer he is than the poor people around him, comes to be confronted with the negative sides of the inequality that was so stark and so obvious in the Britain of Charles Dickens' time. He was writing about his own environment, as we know, because all of Dickens' novels were about the grotesque inequality of early capitalist Britain. And here we are, almost 2 centuries later. And guess what my message is? We didn't learn the lesson that Charles Dickens' story, A Christmas Story, tried to tell. Our rich people today are even richer than the rich people were back at the time of Charles Dickens. They haven't learned his lesson. They keep accumulating more and more money. Since the election, Elon Musk, his personal wealth has gone up by tens of billions of dollars, whereas yours and mine has gone exactly nowhere. That means the inequality got worse, and he's smiling and he's enjoying it, just like Ebenezer Scrooge once did in the novel of Charles Dickens. Here's the message of Dickens that I just want to simply repeat without the writer's skill that Dickens had and that I don't have. Inequality is a crime. It means you are taking advantage of the neediness of other people, which you could easily attend to, but choose not to. At the time of Mr. Trump's election on the 5th of November, Elon Musk already had over $150 billion of personal wealth. He's gotten almost 100 billion more. Had he taken the 100 billion more, it would have been more than what would be necessary to give a home to every homeless person in the United States. And there'd be plenty left over, plenty that he doesn't need since he already had $150 billion. That's cruel. That's unnecessary. That is hideous in the eyes of most of the moralities and ethics of this planet that we all share. But people like Elon Musk could care less. He's busy playing with his money like a child in the sandbox, plays with the sand. He chooses not to read The Christmas Story by Charles Dickens, or if he reads it, he manages to do so without seeing what is as plain in that story as is the horrible poverty plain around the world that Mr. Musk and billionaires like him could do so much to alleviate. Imagine with me a world in which we didn't allow such inequality to happen, in which we said the sharing that we give lip service to is actually the sharing we want to institute as the way we live, being able to connect to one another because we're not separated by the horrible walls of inequality. There's a reason that from the very beginning of American history, liberty, equality, and democracy often were spoken in the same breath. There is a yearning and a desire for equality because we all know it's better than the horrible inequality that suffocates this country and is bringing to an end the American empire built on that inequality. If messages like these strike you as worthy of inclusion in the national conversation, then please share this message at this year's holiday season with your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, your family. That's why we produce them. And of course, if you can help defray the cash costs of doing this, donating to our webpage, democracyatwork.info, is an easy, convenient way to do that. Knowing, of course, that any donation you provide will be greatly appreciated. Thank you.